Martin Lindstrom, Brandwashed, tricks companies use to manipulate our minds and persuade us to buy. Discover the secrets behind the advertising world in Martin Lindstrom's Brandwashed, tricks companies use to manipulate our minds and persuade us to buy. The book unveils how brands influence our preferences right from our childhood and continue to do so with various tactics throughout our lives. Using nostalgia, fear, addiction, and peer pressure as their weapons, companies harness our psychological vulnerabilities to manipulate our purchasing decisions. This summary will provide a deep insight into the myriad techniques companies employ to secure our loyalty and transform us into lifelong customers.
Childhood influences on brand loyalty. From the womb, we develop preferences for certain brands and products, influenced by emotions and exposure through media. These connections can last into adulthood and be deeply rooted in our need to establish friendships and maintain a sense of comfort and familiarity. An understanding of these factors can provide valuable insights into consumer behavior and decision-making processes. Ever wonder why many people still buy the same juice or cornflakes brand they grew up with? It turns out our childhood experiences and emotions have a significant impact on our purchasing behavior as adults. Our brand preferences begin to develop even before we're born. As fetuses, we can perceive sounds from the outside world, including the melodies associated with advertising jingles. If our mother likes a specific tune, she shares the positive emotions evoked through listening to it. Recognizing these melodies later in life can evoke similar emotions and a sense of connection to these brands. Once we're born, we're constantly exposed to countless brands through various media like web ads, video games, and TV. At 10 years old, children have memorized up to 300 to 400 brands and have formed a connection with some that last well into their adult lives. Interestingly, children often believe brands can help them make friends, as seen in a 2009 study where a preschooler thought having Lego would increase his likability among peers. The foundation of these preferences is further reinforced by our belief that family life is the norm. Products that become household staples in our upbringing are carried into adulthood and viewed as our normal. Buying these brands later in life provides us with nostalgia, comfort, and warm memories of our family environment. Understanding how our childhood experiences influence brand loyalty opens up valuable insights into consumer behavior and patterns for marketers. It also brings awareness of the subtle factors that shape our decision-making as adults, helping reveal the multiple layers that contribute to our purchasing choices. Fear drives irrational behavior. Fear and the desire to avoid danger play significant roles in our decision-making processes. Our brains are hardwired to prioritize survival, with the amygdala's swift response to threat often bypassing the more rational prefrontal cortex. This leads to seemingly irrational behaviors, such as the widespread use of hand sanitizers during flu pandemics, despite a lack of conclusive evidence of their effectiveness. Our decisions can also be influenced by a feared self, a future version of us we wish to avoid, such as appearing tired, unfit, or unclean. Marketers capitalize on these fears by evoking images of a feared self, which encourages us to spend large sums of money on products like cosmetics, so as not to be seen as unkempt or unattractive. Recognition of these fear-driven actions can help us better understand our own motivations and behaviors. Unraveling modern product addictions. It's hard to imagine life without smartphones, coffee, or cosmetics, as these items have become integral to our daily lives. So much so that some people develop genuine addictions to them, leading to negative consequences. A staggering 34% of Stanford University students admitted to smartphone addiction, with their phones constantly demanding their attention throughout the day. Like drugs and love, modern product addiction triggers a comparable response in the brain, activating the insular region when engaging with these products. Shopping addicts, on the other hand, experience a dopamine rush, resulting in a temporary sense of well-being. However, as the dopamine levels drop, they crave more, driving them to repeatedly seek out shopping binges to maintain the euphoric high. This escalating cycle of consumption ultimately creates an insatiable need for increased hits. Society's attachment to certain products should be a cause for concern, and awareness is crucial to prevent unhealthy dependencies on modern-day conveniences. The power of peer pressure. Peer pressure is a natural human inclination to emulate group behavior, driven by our evolutionary need to belong to a community. This primal phenomenon ensures survival through learning from others and sharing resources. Scientific studies have shown that babies learn to play with toys by observing others, people feel uncomfortable when excluded, and the desire to match others often leads to imitating their actions. Challenges arise when strong desires, such as the fear of missing out, lead to people acting impulsively to fit in, often compromising their self-interests in the process. When someone stares at something behind you, don't you feel compelled to turn your head and see what captured their attention? You're not alone, most of us instinctively follow group behavior. This natural response, known as peer pressure, is deeply rooted in human evolution. As a social species, humans thrive on being part of a community. Throughout our evolution, we have developed an inherent drive to do whatever it takes to belong to a tribe. For instance, a study involving 14-month-old babies discovered that untrained infants could learn how to play with specific toys by watching others and later recall their observations. Our desire to fit in is so strong that we feel uncomfortable when excluded. In an eye-opening experiment, 200 people were asked to walk around a room, but only 10 were directed to walk in a specific direction. Eventually, the entire group walked in the same direction, as each person wanted to be in sync with the others. Another facet of peer pressure is the magnetic pull to want what others have. In a telling experiment, cookies were offered to individuals in a room. Initially, only 20% took a cookie. When another participant entered the room and took a cookie without being offered one, suddenly everyone wanted a cookie. This mimicking behavior stems from the fear of missing out, which can spark group-wide impulses. Peer pressure, when understood and harnessed, empowers us to learn from others and survive as a cooperative species. However, it can also drive us to act impulsively, prioritizing conformity over self-interest. The power of nostalgia. Nostalgia, an intense longing for the past, plays a vital role in our lives, enhancing our well-being and social skills by recalling positive memories. It provides a shield against painful experiences, potentially increasing our willingness to repeat them. Additionally, reminiscing about the good old times can boost our mood and strengthen relationships. However, nostalgia has a dark side, as it can make us susceptible to memory manipulation, leading us to remember events that never occurred. Understanding the influence of nostalgia on our preferences has implications for marketers, who may use this knowledge to shape our purchase decisions. As we look back on our childhood, we often view TV shows and cartoons through a rose-tinted lens, bestowing them with a nostalgic glow. We may remember them as works of art, even if they were simplistic productions. But what lies behind this yearning for the past? Primarily, nostalgia contributes to our well-being by allowing us to focus on positive aspects of past events, shielding us from painful or unpleasant memories. For instance, if women remembered every detail of childbirth pain, they might hesitate to have more children. By emphasizing the joy of a newborn, however, they regain the courage to experience it again. Furthermore, nostalgia can greatly improve our mood and strengthen relationships. A 2006 study revealed that students who frequently indulged in nostalgic thoughts had stronger social skills, such as providing emotional support and building relationships. However, nostalgia is not without risks. It can render us vulnerable to misremembering or fabricating events completely. In a landmark experiment, researchers exploited the power of nostalgia to convince participants they had seen Bugs Bunny at Disney World, an implausible scenario since Bugs is a Warner Brothers character. By invoking a sense of nostalgia, researchers manipulated the participants' memories. Awareness of nostalgia's impact on our preferences is crucial, as marketers can harness this understanding to influence our purchasing decisions. By knowing how nostalgia sways our emotions, they can tailor their tactics to manipulate what we buy. Captivating children for lifelong loyalty. In today's age, children are constantly exposed to marketing strategies aimed at capturing their attention and ensuring lifelong brand loyalty. Companies employ various tactics, such as using entertainment to entice kids and offering grown-up products at an early age. This enables them to bypass advertising restrictions and create a strong brand connection, transforming children into both customers and brand ambassadors among their peers. Children are bombarded with marketing strategies, which play a crucial role in shaping their preferences and ensuring their loyalty to particular brands. An essential aspect of this marketing is using entertainment to make products more appealing to youngsters. For instance, Kellogg's introduced an iPhone racing car game for their Apple Jack cereal, encouraging children to collect cereal-based rewards. The strategic use of entertainment not only captivates children but also bypasses legislative restrictions on targeting kids via television commercials. Furthermore, interactions among children also serve as a vital marketing medium. As kids share their experiences and engage with brands together, they act as viral marketers, raising brand awareness and expanding their influence. These strategies prove highly effective in capturing children's attention and forming strong associations between them and their chosen brands. Besides using entertainment, companies try to ensure lifelong brand loyalty by introducing grown-up products to children at a young age. For example, cosmetic firms like Bon Bell target girls as young as 7, leading to a significant increase in the usage of mascara among young girls between 2007 and 2009. Another startling example is the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company's practice of sending birthday parcels to teenagers containing coupons for their Cool menthol cigarette brand and new rock band CDs. In conclusion, capturing children's attention early on and building brand loyalty is a strategic goal for many companies. By employing entertainment and introducing adult products at a young age, they effectively ensure their connection with children, keeping them committed to their brand and expanding their influence through peer-to-peer interactions. Fear exploits in marketing. Fear is a powerful tool often used by firms to manipulate consumers into making irrational purchases. By presenting frightening scenarios, companies tap into people's inherent fears, causing them to buy products without considering whether they truly need them. Additionally, these advertisers effectively mix fear and guilt to increase the chances of consumers acting on their fears. Such marketing strategies also capitalize on consumers' restraint from turning into something they dread, presenting products that promise resolution to their concerns. Ultimately, companies use the potent combination of fear, guilt, and worry to influence buying decisions and boost sales. Fear in marketing is a frequently applied technique by companies to persuade people into buying their products. By presenting terrifying situations, such as strangers watching your children or the possibility of a fatal accident, firms exploit our deep-rooted fears as a means of influencing our buying decisions. This manipulation is so effective that consumers often don't consider whether they truly require the product or if their conditions are improving. Advertising companies don't stop at fear alone, they also cleverly combine it with guilt. When consumers feel guilty and scared simultaneously, they are more likely to take action on their fears. For instance, an advertisement for life insurance depicting a father's untimely death, leaving his child alone, not only frightens but also evokes guilt among viewers. This potent mixture of feelings is what propels consumers to make purchases. Firms know that people fear becoming something they loathe, whether it's being overweight, bald, or any other undesirable trait. To capitalize on this insecurity, companies advertise products highlighting the severity of the issue and offering solutions. These advertisements often portray people as extremely unhappy until they utilize the promoted product, providing them relief and happiness. A prime example can be found in an allergy spray commercial where a woman is miserable, trapped inside her house, but regains her freedom and joy after using the product. In conclusion, advertisers deftly harness fear, guilt, and worry to influence consumer decisions and increase sales, ultimately exploiting our deepest emotions for their benefit. Addictive tactics of consumer products. Unbeknownst to many, addictive elements are often introduced to everyday products, with food and lip balm being prime examples. Food manufacturers cleverly incorporate high fat and sugar contents that trigger dopamine release, making consumers crave more, just like drugs would. Similarly, lip balm companies include menthol and phenol, ingredients that induce dependence by creating a vicious cycle of lip drying and balm reapplication. This manipulation of addiction mechanisms allows product manufacturers to ensure continuous purchases and boost their market share. In the realm of consumer products, addiction is exploited to keep customers coming back. For example, food items high in fat and sugar share striking similarities with drugs like cocaine. Both induce dopamine release and result in progressively increasing consumption to achieve the same satisfaction. Astonishingly, one study showed that addiction effects on the brain of obese rats lasted 7 times longer than rats addicted to cocaine. Even seemingly harmless products like Red Bull can trigger addiction, as seen in a New Zealand woman who experienced withdrawal symptoms when she tried to quit the energy drink containing a whopping 27 grams of sugar per can. Beyond the food industry, lip balm manufacturers incorporate addictive substances like menthol and phenol, which disrupt the lip's self-moisturizing ability. This causes users to unconsciously apply lip balm on a regular basis, eventually turning it into a habitual, compulsive action.
Understanding the strategies that companies use to manipulate our minds and shape our purchasing decisions is critical for consumer empowerment. In Brandwashed, Martin Lindstrom exposes the tricks companies deploy, including preying on our nostalgic memories, exploiting our fears, utilizing product addictions, and capitalizing on peer pressure. As we acknowledge these tactics, we become better equipped to navigate the consumer world and exercise greater autonomy in our buying choices. This knowledge strengthens our ability to make more informed and rational decisions, building a foundation for a more conscious and autonomous consumption experience.